Winter has returned to Montana, so we're not going to be going out rock hounding this weekend. Okay, so this is our first batch of rocks for tumbling. I'm going to give you a little overview of some of the highlights, and then we'll introduce you to Mr. Tumbler and show you how to set up for the first round of tumbling. So, got a good selection of agates, petrified wood, jasper, and just some other unknown rocks. So over here we've got jasper from the prior mountains from the last video. Here are some pieces of banded chert from the Yellowstone River. This was from a very first video. This is a really nice piece of striped jasper. This is kind of an interesting one. I think this is also jasper. This is a lighter blue jasper. Some of the petrified wood pieces, nothing too crazy. That one's got some agate running through there, as well as right there. This is a really pretty one as well. You can see that sort of rectangular agate vein running through, and there's some more on the back side here. As for the agates, there's a couple really neat ones. This is a scrap piece from the saw from the Yellowstone. You can see that there's some white inclusions in there. So I'm just kind of curious to see how something like this will end up after being tumbled. This is a really interesting piece that I got from the priors a couple years ago. But it's got these like gold stripes in there, sort of fluffy red inclusions. A couple more interesting agates. This one has some water level banding, I believe, right there. We need to see how that turns out. And then this one has some water level banding, as well as some pretty substantial inclusions in there. If this doesn't turn out right, I might end up cutting it just to see what those are. And there's the water level banding. Maybe the last two more interesting pieces would be this piece of, it's kind of a mixed yellow jasper with some agate in there. And then this one almost doesn't even need to be polished, but it's sort of black-white jasper. You almost don't even need to describe it. So, excited to see how these turn out. We're going to put them into the tumbling basket there, and then I guess it's called a barrel, and then we'll be back in just a minute. Alright, so we have filled up the barrel. You're supposed to fill it up about 2/3. So this seems about right. I think once everything gets settled in there, it'll be just about perfect. And then weigh it, so we're almost 2 pounds. So to set this up, you want to fill it up to water just where you can see it here in the rocks, and then add in 2 tablespoons of the 60 grit silicone carbide. This is from Polyplastics. You're going to add in 2 tablespoons for each pound of rock. So we're probably going to round up to 4 tablespoons. And then it's going to tumble for a week. So we're going to set that up and then put it in the tumbler. All right, so we're going to add in here our 4 tablespoons of 60 grit silicone carbide. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we add that in, and then we fill up the rocks with water so that it's just covering the rocks. So right there. Now we'll put the lid back on and put it in the tumbler. And we're tumbling. So this is going to run for about a week. We'll check in on it after a week and make sure all the rough edges have worn down appropriately. If they haven't, then you sometimes have to do a second cycle with the 60 grit. And then, so that could be another week potentially. Then we do 3 more cycles until we get to our polishing stage. And that'll take for about a total of 4 weeks. So, in 4 weeks, you'll actually get to see the final product. Thanks for watching.